Hello and welcome to Witness. I'm Raggy Omar. Diaries have a compelling power because of the insight they offer into otherwise hidden worlds. Ma Yan, a young Muslim girl, was born into a life of grinding poverty in China's northwest region of Ningxia. She lived on a bowl of rice a day, but she loved to study and never gave up her dreams of achieving more. When she was 13, she started writing a diary, pouring into it all her hopes for the future and her sadness that her parents could not afford the fees for her to continue her studies. Ma Yan wrote that this was like a death sentence. In desperation, Ma Yan's mother gave the diaries to a French journalist, Pierre Hasky, who was visiting their village. She handed him a letter and 3 small notebooks. Scribbled in the letter on the back of a bean seed packet, Ma Yan had written, "I just want to study." Hasky was so moved by her situation that he arranged for excerpts of her diary to be published in one of the French daily newspapers. Beijing-based filmmaker Steve Nettleton was one of the millions who were touched by Ma Yan's story, discovering that after her diary had been published in 19 languages around the world, Ma Yan at last had the chance of the future she dreamed of. It was a story he was determined to bring to the screen, and he met Ma Yan as she prepared to leave for university in Paris. This is Ma Yan's story.
If you look down at the village from high above, it's only a vast expanse of yellow land. It's very bare. You can't get anything you want here. The economy is not developed. I will study hard. When I grow up, I will help to contribute towards the livelihood of the people.
My name is Ma Yan, Ma meaning horse and Yan meaning swallow. I am a strong-willed girl who likes to win. From my horoscope, I like to dream but yet resist destiny. Therefore, I think I am a strong girl, a girl who struggles against fate.
It was a simple diary that transformed Ma Yan's fate. Whereas most girls in this remote corner of the western Chinese province of Ningxia would have been married off in their teens, Ma Yan is now preparing for the biggest change of her life, a move overseas.
My plan now is to study abroad. I believe I will be able to go overseas soon, to France, but I'll have to learn some French.
In the summer of 2007, Ma Yan achieved a goal that had once been an impossible dream. She passed her university entrance exam, becoming one of the first girls from her village eligible for a higher education. But her dreams have grown alongside her success. She's now going to Paris, where she will live with a French family with the aim of soon enrolling in a French university.
I hope that life there would be a bit more relaxing and that I can obtain better knowledge and one day return home to serve my country and contribute towards society.
As a young girl, Ma Yan kept a record of her day-to-day experiences, not knowing that it would eventually be published in 19 countries and inspire children around the world. Her diary gave the outsiders an unprecedented glimpse into the lives of ordinary people in rural China, struggling against drought, poverty, and misfortune to survive.
When I was in primary 4, students were required to write a diary. At that time, my parents were working out in the fields. The 3 of us, me and my 2 brothers, were left at home. There were lots of chores, so I wrote down all the things I did and all my thoughts inside the diary. I also penned my feelings and how I missed my parents. Actually, it was a place for me to vent my sad feelings.
It's freezing today. My brother and I have no more bread. At lunchtime, the comrades were fighting to eat. Only my brother and I were standing there, gritting our teeth. Uncles and aunties, do you know what I hope for? It's that bowl of yellow rice. Have you ever had that feeling of withstanding hunger? I have endured this unbearable suffering before. I thought to myself, When will I no longer endure this hunger in school?
The situation at home was very bad at that time. We were very poor. There was a drought. It didn't rain for 3 or 4 years. Our family condition was very, very bad.
Ma Yan's home village, Changjiashu, stands on a remote landscape where drought is chronic. With unproductive crops, many villagers turn to the back-breaking work of collecting a moss named fa chai, a popular delicacy in the prosperous cities of the east. Like the rest of the village, Ma Yan's family members are Hui, a Muslim ethnic minority that lives primarily in the provinces of Ningxia and Shanxi.
I understand my parents' pain at that time. My mother was sick. She had gastric problems. It was quite serious. I was sad, but I was even sadder to see my parents because they had to go to faraway places to work in the depths of winter. My heart ached for them. The economic burden on my family was quite heavy because there were 3 children in the family who needed to go to school.
This afternoon, after school, my brother and I went to look for my mother. When we caught up with her, she was seeing the doctor. The 3 of us went to the market to eat. Mother didn't eat. I could see that she was thirsty and hungry. I think that Mother is willing to withstand hunger for the sake of our stomachs and our education. I must not disappoint her. I must get into university, find a job, and let Mother eat until she's full.
Every day, Mother and Father had their heads facing the earth and backs facing the sky. They had to work 4 seasons a year and to tend the fields. I felt that this kind of life is really difficult. For generations, our family had always been farmers. We had to rely on nature for our livelihood. This kind of life is unstable. We might eat once, and it will only last for that meal. So I wanted to change our fate through education, change our family's way of life.
This morning, my 2 brothers went out to cut grass for the donkey while Father was working on the threshing floor. Mother is ill. She stayed in bed. Sister She tells us a story. When we go to pick fa cai, we always have a great time. My 5th uncle's grandmother always sings when she's scything, and she dances. She may be old, they say, but she's got a joyous heart. I don't believe this explanation of the grandmother's character. I believe this woman to be sad and unhappy, because my mother's done the same work. So this grandmother, who's been cutting grass all her life into her old age, who's never had a decent outfit of clothes, who had to earn money to find a good wife for her son, well, now her life is so unenviable that her only joy is dancing. If she doesn't dance now, she'll never have the time to dance at all. Why are we alive? The rich die after having known all kinds of pleasures. It's a happy death. The poor live with tears in their eyes. When they die, their death is painful, and that's the truth of it.
In our village, the girls can only study until primary 4 or 5 at most. Very few go to middle school, because the mentality of adults was that girls at the age of 15 or 16 have to get married. They will become members of another family. When I was in primary 4, many people came to ask for my hand in marriage. It was hard to imagine, but Father and Mother were firm. They refused all of them.
Initially, my reason for sending Ma Yan to school was because I didn't want her to be like me. I only went to primary 1. I didn't get to study anymore after that. So I told myself, no matter what happens, I am going to send my daughter to school. But when she was in primary 5, I couldn't support her anymore. I had exhausted all means trying to get her back to school. So when she was on holiday, I decided to talk to her so she could be prepared for it.
For the Children's Day celebration in June that year, I was the host and member of the choir. That was the happiest day of my life because Mother and Father bought me a new set of clothes. The outfit was very pretty. I heard them say that I will have everything new from head to toe. What they wanted to say was that that would be my last Children's Day. Looking at the new clothes she bought me, I could feel that it was going to be my last day at school.
I told her, Ma Yan, this is your last time going to school. She asked, why do you say that, Mama? I said, because your father is working outside alone and he can't earn enough money, so I'll have to go out and work too. She looked at me like this and asked, Mama, are you serious? I said, yes. Why is it that my two brothers can go to school and not me? Is it because I'm a girl? I said, no. She said, Mama, I don't understand this. I said, when you get married and have a family and children, you will understand why I don't allow you to go to school. She stopped eating and cried. I walked out.
I was sad after knowing that it was going to be my last day in school, so I decided to give Mother my diary and the letter. I wanted her to know how I felt and what I was thinking.
She told me, no, Mama, I must go to school. I told myself, this child is so stubborn. There was nothing I could do. Her diary was locked up in a box. She took it out. She was unhappy the whole time. She said, Mama, take a look at my diary. But I am illiterate. How do I know what is written inside your diary? I can't read. She left it in the drawer. So I got my youngest son to read it to me.
You can't live without knowledge nowadays. Even peasants need knowledge to farm. Without knowledge, the crops would produce no harvest. I came home to work on the farm to support my brother's education. When I think of the children's laughter in school, I really want to go back to study. How I really want to study, but my family has no money. I want to go to school. Mother, I don't want to go home. How wonderful it would be if I could always stay in school.
I finally understood. I walked outside. I felt really sad, but there was nothing I could do. We still needed food and clothing, and I hadn't slept. She wanted to go to school.
Join me again after the break as Ma Yan's diary gently exposes the harsh realities of life in rural China and her hopes for a better future.